Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to League of Europe. We are here, of course, on F1 2021. It is Season 7, Division 1, Round 12 of the Championship as we take in the Russian Grand Prix from the Sochi Autodrome. My name is James Hay, going to be taking to the stream, as always, on a Saturday night, and joining me in the commentary box, it is the full-time League of Europe F1 champion. It is, of course, NSX Montana. Montana, how you doing?
Hello, yes, I'm doing quite well. Looking forward to commentating over the penalty runoff circuit of whatever. So just glad that we got like 16 drivers in so far. People still updating the games. You've got one relief Montana here that Connor made it in time, but yeah, interesting scenario today. Some people missing and some people having it run, but I will come on to that with the standings.
Yeah, we will come on to that, and of course, in the standings, and as you mentioned, drivers are missing. Justas especially is the one missing. He leads the championship, of course, coming in tonight on 160 points. If Campbell or Nathan takes the win here tonight, they will be within a race distance, or race points difference, basically, between Justas and themselves. So Campbell and Nathan, second and third, they can take, obviously, the win, and obviously try and exploit that gap to Justas. Being on 160 points, though, Justas does lead the way. He's got a 38-point advantage, which is quite comfortable, I think, with him missing this week. Campbell, though, in second on 122. Nathan in third on 113. Connor in fourth on 97. I rate his chances tonight, definitely. Pease in fifth on 71. Verstappen in sixth on 70. Yildirim in seventh on 69. Jensen and eighth on 63. Jeroen and Izza ran off the top 10 on 51 and 50, respectively. Then it's Rocco O'Neill, Dylan, Ruta, and Packer ran off the top 15. Kuhn, Bly, Killer Blue, Stephen Osh, Marine, and Fleddy ran at the top 20, and Nuth and Rudy, of course, have got spoiled. And speaking of Rudy, he has got a qualifying ban tonight for licence points given. Would be nice if that was actually put on the stewards' reports, just to throw it out there to everyone. But Justas leading the way in the championship, 38 points the gap. It looks as if that that gap, basically, he's got to Campbell, isn't going to be eroded away tonight, unless Campbell and Nathan obviously win.
Yeah, this is now the chance to apply a bit of pressure on Justas for them too. So Campbell not having the best couple of races, and Nathan just coming from 2 wins in a row. So quite unlikely that he does 3 in a row, but you never know. But yeah, this is the chance for them to score big points. Connor definitely a world record holder on this track, also one to keep an eye on. That record is still a pain for me. I can't beat it to this day. So yeah, but to be honest, James, I feel a wet race is coming, but we'll see.
Might be, but yeah, it might be. I mean, Russia does like to throw up its unpredictability, let's just say, certainly in terms of the weather conditions. Obviously, track is off the F1 calendar for you-know-what reason. We're not going to mention, of course, on the stream. And we are here for one reason and one reason only, of course, and that is to race as drivers and also to commentate without politics or the likes getting in the way. And that's what we're going to deliver, of course, here tonight in Russia at the Sochi Autodrome, to give it its full name, not the Ibbo Autodrome, as this title masks over, basically, where we are here, of course, tonight. But everyone could see that we're in Russia. Of course, 5.8 kilometres in length, 3.6 miles, 2 DRS zones, one down the start finish straight, down in towards turn 2, and one, of course, down in towards turn 13 and 14. And this is a track, Montana, that obviously has been pretty good for racing in the past, but as you said at the top of the stream, it is, I think just before we came live, of course, on the stream, it was absolutely teeming down out on track. My goodness me, full wet conditions. There's going to be quite a few soggy drivers, I think, out there tonight. But coming on to what I was saying there, of course, Sochi in the past has been quite good for racing, but you were saying just before we came on the stream that it is quite extreme in terms of the track limits.
Yeah, it's so hard to keep a clean race without getting a penalty. But we have to see if the race is wet as well, because then it's going to be not that easy to overtake, but a bit easier on track limits. So people are probably just letting it sink in that it's wet and trying to get the best setup possible for both the race and quali. And to me, it really looks like it's full wet conditions, actually. So yeah. Different kind of qualifying. I'm not sure whether we've seen many wet qualifying this season, but certainly spices things up. I hope we still have quite a dry race so we can see the racing. And we see the first guys go out on track, and that is Packer as usual.
And he's on a set of And he's on a set of inters coming out the pit lane as well, which should be quite interesting. Of course, the graphics showing the majority of drivers on full wet, but I wonder if Packer thinks that it is somewhere near intermediate compound tyres, or if the rain is going to ease up in the first part of qualifying. He is out on that set of intermediate compound of tyres. We've seen other drivers coming out the pit lane as well. Verstappen is just leaving his pit box there. He's also on a set of inters. Is out there on a set of wets. And Jensen is on a wet, yeah.
That'll give us a good comparison on the first couple of laps. Obviously, we don't know if the rain is going to get worse or if it's like that. So the game put them all on wets, but Packer probably saw a delta that is not that far off on inters or almost the same. So I like it when it's in between and we've got different strategies. We see people coming out of all sorts of tyres right now, so they're not certain. We see more people on full wets, I guess, than on inters. Rudy, obviously, with the quali ban. I hope he knows that he's got one, as he's taking the Norris line there in that corner. But yeah, interesting choices everywhere. The two Mercedes leading Constructors' Championship by quite a gap now, coming out on inters, both of them. And Jurbeam, someone that I really think that can do well in those conditions and on this track, on a set of full wets as well.
Yeah, definitely. So Packer is on that set of inters. Rudy, by the way, spun coming through turn number 8. Nice. So that might be the reason why it might be full wets rather than inters. Jav, by the way, saying in terms of the conditions in the race, he can confirm that the race expected to have a dry race to begin off with and wet conditions to finish it off. Interesting. I think I've had plenty of that, though, this week. I really hope we're not going to book that trend even further. But Packer is coming around the final couple of corners. He is now starting up on this lap around the Sochi Autodrome, of course, this 5.8km circuit. And, of course, as we already alluded to, we're not coming here, of course, in real life due to obvious reasons. But Packer now coming to the right-hander of turn number 1, on the run down and towards turn number 2. And these wet conditions, you can easily lock up and probably run wide like Sonoda did, of course, in the dry in F2. Obviously, he didn't crash that day. Obviously, he crashed that day. These drivers probably won't. Packer, though, coming through turn number 2 and 3. Then to the left-hander of turn number 4, coming adjacent, of course, on the exit of the corner to the Fish Stadium, which hosted the Olympics opening ceremony, of course, in the Winter Olympics, as Packer catches a snap of oversteer coming through turn 4. The ice hockey arena just off the left-hand side, coming through turn number 5. And then, of course, in towards turn number 6, where Lando Norris famously went off, of course, in real life around here last season. Packer through the first sector, though, I think that was a 37 through the first sector from Packer. Clearly, drivers on a set of wet are struggling. I'm not sure if they're obviously improving in terms of the time, but we'll see as we get to the end of this lap on board with Packer. Should be expecting around, I think, mid 130s, low 140s sort of lap time to real big time range, I think, in terms of that. But Packer's coming to the right-hander. Again, a bit of snap of oversteer from the American. Seems to be coping with the inters actually quite well. On the run there down in towards turn number 12, and we'll see what his middle sector is like. And it's a 114.3 to the middle sector, purple out of everyone so far. Just judging by some of the drivers in behind, the AlphaTauri that's behind him out on track, I think Packer's actually getting away from him out on track, just visually on the mini-map. So we'll have to wait and see as you spot something, I think, out on track.
Yeah, Jensen is up. He's doing quite well on the wets, but it's something in between right now, so he's a bit up on Packer, but we have to see if the last sector is as wet as well. Just doesn't seem comfortable for anyone right now. Either they're struggling with setups or it's just a weird kind of wetness. But I think Jensen's going to beat that quite considerably. But Schulman is also on one.
Might be a 45, I think, by Jensen. Actually coming through the final corner, this looks like quite close. Jensen around the final corner. Ooh. Does it? Oh, he just barely improved.
By miles. Called it.
Barely improved, actually. And Kumbla goes second, 46.4. And it's only 200ths of a second covering the top 3. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, but Jurbeam is a 7/10 up. But so was Verstappen apparently on a set of inters. Okay, here we go. Tiptoeing in the final sector. It's interesting. There's literally no grip, it seems like. So Verstappen with a decent lap, but you can also see Ruti on a set of wets, and now Jurbeam on a set of wets as well. So really interesting corner session, a bit unorthodox, but we like that.
Yildirim's surely going to go ahead of Verstappen here, though, coming out the final
By
corner on the run
miles.
to the
Oh
line.
my
It's
God.
definitely full wets, 44.8
What a
on
beauty.
that set of wet compound tyres. Verstappen there in second, but what the drivers could obviously do is get multiple runs on those tyres. Campbell's coming through the middle sector. He's actually not too far off Yildirim's middle sector at all here. So Campbell now possibly could go second ahead of Verstappen. Round the final corner, on the run to the line, just falls short, goes 7th in the end, 46.2. But clearly wets at the minute. It's not too far off the intermediate conditions though, is it?
Yes, it just depends if the rain is staying like that. If it's getting a bit lighter, then that will just change everything, really. But I'm surprised that Shrewsbury was just a second ahead of everyone else. So it just looked like he had so much more grip than anyone, which is impressive. Not gonna lie. But we see it still mixed. Packer now puts in a second lap in a row. It's already in the 45s as well. So both tyres can work. Just need to get them into the right window and probably have the right setup for it right now.
Yeah, Verstappen's 4/10 up in the middle sector as well. We should see the wet runners, though, however, come into the pit lane. You again spot something, I think, through the middle sector on more than somebody else. But Verstappen coming through in towards the final couple of corners, in towards turn 17 and 18 here, with 7 minutes gone in qualifying. Yildirim out on top, Verstappen second, Kuhnblei in third. Verstappen is going to go second, I think, with this lap. He will improve by around nearly 0.5 per second, so 45.3. Wouter comes into there in third with a 45.6 on a set of wet. So really, we're at the delta period, really, the crossover between the wets and the inters. If the rain, of course, is to relent as the session goes on, it'll be inters. If not, it'll be full wet, and if the rain obviously gets heavier, could see a red flag possibly in this session. But Yildirim out on top, Verstappen in second. Nuth, however, goes second, 45.2. Verstappen there in third. But clear to me, it's still wet, but I would say there's around a second in it between the wets and the inters.
Yeah, it just depends how you can make them work. Obviously, the fast time ran on wet, but Verstappen has done really well. He's the only one that can make the inters work right now, as Packer was improving a little bit, I think, but might have backed out of it. So, still splits opinions right now. And we see Connor pitted on a lap of the wets onto inters right now. So, maybe they know more than we do. But at the moment it's quite split. We don't know the fuel runs and also not what kind of setups people are running. If they decide to go dry or wet. Because that can make a huge difference. As you can see, people struggling for grip everywhere. But Packer now is looking quite good. Yeah, and that puts in P2 on a set of inters. Nice lap.
It does. Kuhnblei, those purple in the middle sector, so we'll see what the Dutchman can do. 45.8 on this set of wet compound tyres. Is he going to try and obviously set this lap and not come into the pit? Then he will. So Kuhnblei coming around the final couple of corners. I think he's going to fall short of Yildirim here, but purple middle sector will really set him up well, I think, for the rest of the lap. Around the final corner, he'll go 6th, I think. Goes 6th, 45.4 on that set of wet compound tyres. So he's only 6/10 off current pole position in Yildirim. But Yildirim there out on top, Packer in second, Nuth in third at this moment in time. By the way, good evening to Charlie. It's Verstappen now goes second, 45 flat, so we're clearly getting inters in play in terms of the actual tyres. Killer Blue's just starting up on a lap. Marine was on a lap. He's invalid though in that middle sector. But Yildirim there out on top, Verstappen in second, Packer in third, and Mr. Daniel Hoggard saying D3 is already 15 seconds faster than this rubbish wash division. There we are, as Nuth now goes quickest, 44.8.
Yeah, nearly doing a 360 over the line, so he was definitely pushing those tire temps in the last sector. Nuth is absolutely coming alive in these conditions. I knew from last season when I was race engineering him that he was great with the car control in the wets, but really unexpected, but probably enjoys it being in P1. But Packer is half a second up, so if Packer gets the last sector together, he can definitely go up to P1. And Verstappen now also improving quite a lot in the first sector, so it might be time for inters. But we have to see if anyone else improves on a set of wets as well.
Yeah, rain's not relenting, but Packer's actually coming back into the pit lane. So Packer's back into the pit.
No fuel.
Verstappen is, I think, going to get round possibly for this lap. He's coming to the middle sector. On the run now down in towards turn number 12 and 13. And he's nearly 5 tenths up, 112.7. That's the first 112 I've seen through the middle sector there so far. Beneath there out on top, Yildirim in second, Verstappen in third. Currently, by Daniel Hoggard's comment, of course, there. Looks like Division 3, possibly. They're going to be moving up to Division 1 next week because it seems like these guys are not getting the control of the tyres as possible, but Verstappen is on a good lap here. He's coming in toward the final couple of corners. We'll see what the Dutchman can do. Obviously, he's third at the minute, but I think he's going to go quickest with this lap. Coming out the final couple of corners, rain just looks like it was relenting slightly through the final couple of corners. He'll go quickest, 44.6 on a set of inters, on 4-lap-old inters, goes quicker. Snoot there in second, Yildirim and Thubu should see now drivers filtering out on a set of inters as Campbell is coming to the middle sector, and he's up in his time as well. Middle sector split, 1:13 flat, so he's 3/10 up.
Yeah, also Connor now setting his first lap. He's having tons of oversteer, so it's literally just Formula drifting around here. Just want to mention that Daniel Hoggart could probably compete with those guys. It was dry with his lap time, so shame he's not racing. But yeah, Connor now setting his first lap. That should already put him into P1 first lap. That's not bad. Straight out of the gate. But Campbell probably wants to fight that one, and it's gonna be close. But yeah, Connor on a set of inters. Campbell still on his first set, Verstappen on his first set, they're still going, and people now go for a second set of run on the wets for Autodrome, interestingly.
Yeah, Nathan's coming around the final corner as well. He hasn't looked quick on this lap, he's on a full set of wets, but he goes 9. That's not bad lap actually from Nathan, 45.5. Obviously quicker drivers ahead of him, but I believe apart from him and Yildirim is the quickest on 1 lap old wet. He's invalidated on this lap. But Nathan there now down to 11th. Obviously more drivers setting in on inters. Killblue going 5th there. Jensen going 8th as well. But Nathan, that's not a bad lap. If he can improve onto the set of inters and obviously come towards the end of the session, I think it's going to be a case, Montana, of last person to cross the line gets pole position.
Yeah, if the rain eases off, that's going to be the case. But it's so hard to time, especially in this track. But yeah, still mixed opinions. But Yildirim now probably has resigned. No one's seen that little track extension there. But yeah, Jensen not really getting into the groove yet. Ruti now also probably considering the inters. And now Nathan and Mariah, the last 2 warriors on a set of wets. To be honest, I think personally the wets are still fine. So I would prefer a set of wets, to be honest. A bit more stable with the tire temps. A bit easier to drive and you can push them a little bit more. But people definitely seem to go for the inters right now.
Yeah, peas are on a lap. It's a bit looking like mushy peas, to be honest, out on track in terms of the conditions. But peas now coming through in towards the final couple of corners in this first sector. Coming past the Fish Stadium on the left-hand side. Through turn number 5, we'll see what Peas' first sector is like. He's on that set of inters. He's actually the first man to go on that tires, and he's 3/10 up already. So Peas is clearly improving. He should go quicker than Connor, I think, in terms of that lap. Connor's lap time quicker, but Peas' middle sector will really define his lap. Will he be, if he's around 9/10 to a second up, I think, he will be setting quicker than Connor's lap time. We'll see, though, what the relentless man can do. Coming through the middle sector, just in front of the Olympic Village there off the left-hand side. Now we come through the right-hander of turn number 11, and then, of course, down in toward the left-hander of turn number 12. And Peas is looking really good, I've got to say, on this lap so far. Looks neat, looks tidy. Coming through the middle sector split, and it's a 1:13.1. He's slightly off in terms of the middle sector. He's only 5/10 up, so maybe I've given a little bit more coy and more verve possibly to get this lap time on, and he's underperforming I think at this stage. But Peter's coming into towards the final couple of corners anyways. He should go, I think, ahead of Dylan now in retrospect. He should go 7th. Yildirim obviously on that lap. He's probably gone for a set of inters as well. Neil now goes 2nd though, 44.4, and he's only 1,500 of a second off Connor with 3.5 minutes to go. Peas around the final corner on the run to the line. Found all that time in the final sector. Wow, 5th position. He found nearly 6/10 in that final sector on the rest of his lap, and Peas 44.6 is up there.
Yeah, we saw Rocco actually going purple in the middle and the first sector, so Rocco would have done a pole lap, but he went into the pits. So he definitely thinks instead of fresh tyres for the last run, a bit less fuel maybe is worth it more. So he took quite a gamble. We like to see Rocco on top, as Rooter out of absolutely nowhere as is a TikTok, it's Alfa Romeo o'clock, like it seems like. That's a sick lap time, especially for a joystick player, so not bad from the Alphas.
Man to watch out for though is Nuth. He's 3.5 up through the first sector split. He's coming through the right-hander of turn number 10, and then of course down the straight in towards 11 and 12. Of course DRS will be enabled at this point on a lap. It is of course wet, as you can probably see, and that's why there's no DRS of course enabled out on track. But we'll see what Nuth coming through the middle sector is like. 1:12.5, and he's going quicker than Isra at this stage. Gets the card nice, negotiating towards turn 12 now through the left-hander of 13, and then in towards of course the tricky section of 14, then in towards the left and right of 15 and 16. Wouter loves a bit of Sochi, says Jav, clearly liking that so far in second. But Nuth is the man to watch out for, as the rain just looks like it begins to ease slightly as we come toward the end of the lap here with Nuth coming around the final corner, on board with the German. He is going to go quick, as it's going to be the first 43 of the night, I can tell you that. Nuth around the final corner, 43.8, and now puts it 3/10 between himself and Izza, as Neil now improves up to third as well, and this is the time where we will see many improvements.
Yeah, I think the track is definitely getting quicker now. Also, drivers are getting more confident. We just see improvements everywhere right now. Like Nuth, what a lap from him. Just invalidated this one, but he'll have one more go at least to try to improve that time. People obviously need to cool the tyres down a little bit. Colin is just starting his penultimate run. Peace also on a lap. So everyone trying to improve and just get that last final run under big pressure in there.
Yildirim's looking quite good on this lap as well. He's just coming through in towards 8 and 9, the double left-hander, and he's looking really good. He was 3/10 up in the first sector. If obviously he improves in this middle sector, he should be there or thereabouts in terms of Izza, Neil, Nuth, the top 3 certainly. And Yildirim, very characteristic, just get caught on the curb slightly, a bit like Hamilton, of course, in qualifying in Australia. Obviously that was dry in qualifying in real life. If you haven't watched it, I'm not going to ruin it for you. 12.5 through the middle sector from Yildirim when he's purple in that middle sector. Might be indicative though on his own time. He needs to find another 4/10 of a second to put it up there in between Nuth and Izza. So can he do that? The German in toward the final couple of corners through 15, then to the right hand of turn 16. The rain is definitely easing off out on track as we get to the end of the lap. On board with Yildirim. It's a very fine rain that just wets the track slightly, but Yildirim now around the final corner. In towards the final corner now, that was 17, then through the final corner, it might go quickest here, Yildirim to the line, doesn't, go second, a 10th behind, not a bad improvement from him. Anybody else on the lap, as I think we see, who was that going up towards the field, was that Kuhnblei going 6th?
Yes it was, and Connor on a lap, as if a German 1-2 in Russia, so like 1945 again. But yes, Connor now in the final sector, Verstappen jumping up to 3rd, so that's important for the constructors.
Oof.
Campbell still only 12th, and
Pease
17th. And Pease out of nowhere is having a piece of this. Campbell now the next to cross the line, he puts it up there. That's
Connor.
really important for his campaign right now.
Connor's looking good.
Oh, it's a final run, isn't it?
Ooh. And he's got another lap. He's got another lap
Yeah,
just
I think
about.
he got the timing. Oh,
Nathan
that was
7th.
so close.
Nathan 7th is improving in the middle sector, coming down through the final sector, through 17 and then through the right hand of 18. He's next to come across the line. We'll see what the Alfa Romeo can do.
He's
And he
flying.
goes quickest.
What is
43.3. What a lap time by Izza. Can Wouter now improve? Wouter's the next man to come across the line. He improves up to 3rd. We're seeing many improvements throughout the field. Yildirim is off a lap. Campbell is not on a lap either, I don't think. Connor isn't. Verstappen is. He's 400th up. I'm trying to flick through actually who's coming around the final corner. It's Killer Blue. Killer Blue is 5/10 up. 112.3. He's going to pull it up there actually, Killer Blue. Round the final corner, on the run to the line, and he goes 10th in the end, and it's so close between. P's all the run down to Neo, separated by 4/10 of a second at this stage. Packer is out of the session. He's back into the pit lane. McLaren across the lines. Rocco, he goes 11th and crashes into the wall. AlphaTauri round the final corner. I believe it's Jensen. He goes 13th. Is Izza though on pole position with that lap. Ruti, famously of Division 2, now promoted to Division 1. He's looking quick though. The Finn could try and spoil the party here. Round the final corner, on the run to the line. He goes 2nd, 43.6. He does spoil the party of P's there in 3rd, but Ruti now into 2nd. Nuth is on a lap as well. He's 1800s down, but he is improving through this final sector. We'll see what the German can do. Round the final corner, on the run to the line, and he spins across the line, and he does improve, but not an improvement in position. Is that everyone on the lap? No, Campbell. Pease goes close into 2nd. Campbell around the final corner, goes 3rd, and he's only 100th off. What's Connor doing out on track? I don't think Connor is on a lap actually. Round the final corner, he goes 6th. And that is the end of qualifying, a fast-paced end to the qualifying session. It is Izza. What sort of lap time was that from the Indonesian? He is out on top, 40... I can't remember the actual time of the lap, but we'll see. 43.3. Wow. Izza out on top. 3/10 of a second ahead of Pease. Campbell there in 3rd. Verstappen in 4th. Ruti in 5th. Connor in 6th, Wouter 7th, Nuth in 8th, Neo in 9th, Yildirim ran off the top 10, Jeroen 11th, Nathan in 12th, Killer Blue in 13th, Rocco in 14th, Kuhnblei, Dylan, Jensen, Packer, Ryan and Rudy, of course, with that qualifying ban, down in 20th position. What sort of lap time, though, was that from Izza? Because that was just electric in qualifying, and he's nearly 3/10 clear of the rest of the field.
Yeah, I would love to have a go at that. That was a absolute masterclass in the wet from Isa, so really impressive. So just putting 2.7 tenths ahead of everyone without any issues as a controller player with his joystick. So really impressive stuff. We know his races can be a bit shaky, but is that the first pole position he's ever done in Alloy by any chance?
I think it is. I think it is. Certainly
Congrats.
from Division 1, certainly. As look at the conditions now. It's beautiful blue sky, sunshine here, of course, in Sochi, in the southern part of Russia, of course. And we are here, obviously, at the Sochi Autodrome, or the Ibbo Autodrome, as it's now been renamed, of course, here tonight. But, brilliant qualifying session. Is around on top. It's a bit of a mixed-up grid, to be honest, and looking obviously at the conditions we're going to get later on in the race, what do drivers decide to do? Do they go on mediums and hards to start off the race, or do they go softs and think that the rain's going to come early?
Gotta go mediums. They're so good around this track, especially with the tire. The softs a little bit overheating sometimes in the last sector. So I expect most of the people go on mediums. Maybe we see another one go on hards, but mediums have good tire wear and they can just get to the end, or probably the rain anyways. But yeah, people saying rain can come a bit earlier. Some saying it's really late, and you never know with Jeff and the game when exactly it comes. But I would say most of them on mediums unless they know something else. Yeah, you can see the yellow wall tires. Is that everyone on yellows?
No, Nathan's on a set of softs.
Oh, I love it. He's gambling full on. If he has to pit before the rain without a safety car, he's in big trouble because a pit stop here takes probably a whole calendar year.
Yeah, 19 drivers on a set of medium, though, compounded size. Jav's saying we should expect rain throughout halfway to the end, which now makes sense as to why Nathan's actually gone on that set of soft compounded size, because the set of softs, it's low tyre wear around here. It's around 4%, 5% a lap on a set of softs. So think about it that way. 10 laps, you're going to get 40 to 50% on that set of soft compounded tyres. Nathan there, if it's toward the lower end of the estimate, 40%, he's going to be fine to go maybe until the halfway stage. Remember, it's pretty much fresh tyres for everyone. It is indeed fresh tyres for everyone. And Nathan there in 12th, taking a gamble. I like it, though. That could be the gamble, potentially, that wins him the race.
Yeah, I like it. If everyone just goes on a set of tires, you generally want to go on the strategy, especially when you're down in P12 and need to gain some positions off the start. So he needs to make the progress quite early on when the softs are still having quite an advantage. We expect maybe 8/10ish in the first couple of laps. So he needs to make the moves and probably get himself up to P6, P7 if he can, and then just hope he can survive until the rain comes.
I wish the bookmakers, by the way, were getting a betting market going for this race, because I think everyone will be around 66 to 1 possibly in terms of the race here tonight. Congratulations, by the way, to Jav. That is towards his related win in the Grand National today on Noble Yates, so well done to you. My girlfriend finished second and I had the third in that race as well. Not that anybody cares, to be honest, but I just thought I'd throw it in while we're on the formation app, because we've got probably nothing else to talk about. Oh, Connor was getting very sideways at the final couple of corners there. Just a snap coming through turn 16. I think it was more heating up the tyres than anything else. But the drivers are now filtering around the final couple of corners here in Sochi. Izarad on top, Pease alongside him, Campbell in third, and Montana, who's your top three?
Wow, this is a really tough one to call. I'm gonna go Peace, Ruti, Connor.
Ruti or Rudy?
Ruti.
Ruti, fifth. Yeah, I thought you mentioned that. We've got Ruti and Rudy both in the Ferrari, so it's a bit confusing in terms of the names. We don't want to get them too mixed up. Izzo the lad on top, Pease alongside him. The 500 lights are immediately coming on here in Sochi. It is round number 12 of the championship, and it is lights and away we go. Izzo gets a really good stop. I think Pease has got the jump on him actually, running in towards the right hander of turn number 1. Of course, it is straight line all the way in towards turn number 2. We've got 3 wide in the background. Verstappen, Campbell, and Ruti are going side by side. Pease are going to look to the inside line and Izzo in towards turn number 1, but he backs off and holds them up. And there's a bit of front wing actually carnaging through the field. More front wing damage coming through turn number 2. I'm not sure who that might be from, but Izzo leads the way. Pease in second, Verstappen in third, Campbell in fourth, and the Mercedes go all the way around the outside. Now, as Connor gets the inside line in towards turn number 5, tries to get the move done. Ruti right on the back of him has lost that position. Drivers filtering off, running across the grass, obviously on the outside, the AstroTurf on the outside, but Connor down the inside line gets the move on Ruti and he's through and he's into fifth. So nice move. Nathan, by the way, is already up to into 8th. Kuhnblei, Marine, Packer. It might have been Packer, actually, that the front wing came off the car completely. The Aston Martin is struggling. My camera angles are not working for me tonight at the minute. Izza leads the way. P's there in 2nd, Verstappen in 3rd. Really good start by Nathan. Carnage, though, even before we got towards turn number 2. Jensen has lost position to Rudy. Rudy's up to 16th, and they're having a battle side by side. But Izza got the jump on P's. P's initially had the better start, but Izza, all the way down towards turn number 1 and turn 2, got the move done, as Nathan, I think, is going to get the move done all the way around the outside of turn number 13, tries to look to the inside line out for 14, can he get the move done, forces Rudy out wide slightly, and the Red Bull and the Ferrari go side by side, could be like tomorrow in Australia. Nathan pulls off the move though, surely, Rudy gives him total, there's contact between them both, Nathan is sent round, and Nathan recovers the car, and Nuth actually, as Nathan's in space, he must have front wing damage on the car, and Nuth and Rocco are side by side coming out the final corners as well. Nuth holds on to position. Izza leads the way. P's in 2nd, Verstappen in 3rd. And Ruti, to be honest, his nose shouldn't have been down the inside line because Nathan had that move complete.
Yeah, that was just... The first lap on this track is just so awkward at all the corners. And I don't know why Ruti was still trying. The move was lost. So it was a bit weird, but this Rocco and Nuth and Truby are having a bit of an issue into turn 1, or as you call it, turn 2. So Nuth losing a couple of spots. It was going all so well for Nathan. He's now put on a set of mediums. So if the rain doesn't come, he's gonna at least have a chance to finish the race on this set of tyres. Dylan and Packer both gambling on a set of softs, which is probably the right thing to do at this stage. But yeah, we see moves up and down the whole field, but we also see the 2 Mercedes trying to cosplay the real Mercedes of real F1 and just almost losing the arrest already on lap 2.
Yeah, they are, and to be honest, they're actually ahead of Connor. 7 tenths per second ahead of Connor, but everything is spaced out quite evenly, apart from Ruta, who was on the back of Connor. He's only 4 tenths away, on the run down and towards turn number 12 and 13. What happened with Rocco and Nuth, by the way? They both went side by side. Rocco forced the inside line in towards turn 2 and 3. Nuth had to take avoiding action, had to take the escape road, and that's why he lost the positions, because he had to take the escape road. Rocco pretty much forced him off camber, as Kuhnblei is round coming through the middle sector through turn 13. So Kuhnblei is round coming through there. I think he might have had contact with Marine, possibly, but Izza leading the way. P's in 2nd, currently Relentless 1-2, KVR 3-4, and then an NSX driver in 5th position. You'd like to see, of course, here in Division 1. Izza leading the way, P's in 2nd, Verstappen in 3rd, and everyone, I think, is now just getting into their rhythm and settling into the race.
Yeah, a lot of battery has been used in the first 2 laps with Izza pushing at the front, so everyone had to stay with him, and now P's is getting really close. Now it's over with escaping, the DRS has been activated, and now it's all about the Russian DRS train.
All aboard the Russian DRS train, all aboard the Alfa Romeo DRS train, of course, in front. Izza leads the way. P's there in 2nd, Verstappen in 3rd. Verstappen's looking quite quick, I've got to be honest. He's there in the Mercedes, in 3rd position. Campbell following through as well. Big news, of course, with Campbell. He obviously is in the championship fight. He's 2nd, of course, coming into the championship fight tonight with Justas. Justas not here, of course. So that means Campbell, currently, is picking up valuable points to try and bridge that gap a little bit further. It is only going to be 12 points, I think, he picks up, though, at this stage of the race. Must stop now, which it probably won't. Izza leads the way. P's there in 2nd, Verstappen in 3rd. We potentially could see moves further down the field. Jensen on the back of Killer Blue, 13th and 14th at the minute. The AlphaTauri on the back of the Aston Martin, and I think I'm totally belligerent to think that this is going to be a move done because they're nowhere near each other. Killer Blue 13th, Jensen 14th, Rudy in 15th. Marine has dropped off the pace. I'm not sure if he's got any damage, of course, with that little collision with Kuhnblei, who obviously is in 17th. Nathan, Dylan and Packer, 18th, 19th and 20th. Everyone's still continuing on. Ruta on the back of Connor, looking quite close to win toward the final corners.
Yeah, it's just so hard to stay with someone in the last 2 corners, the 90-degree corners. They just don't feel right. But we'll see fastest laps exchanged once again, and you really need to use all your battery to get past someone in this train, as Issa just gets that 7, 8, 10th out of the last corner, and then it's just almost impossible for Peace to catch up without wasting his battery to get re-overtaken the next lap. So it's just all about finding the rhythm right now, getting absolutely no warnings is crucial, and building up a bit of a battery life so you can use that later on in the race when it gets to the rainy part. You already see some clouds coming in, but it's still quite sunny, so should still see 5-10 laps of dry conditions at least until it gets spicy.
Yeah, I think we will. We'll see I think we'll see the transition possibly around lap 9, lap 10 for a set of. Well, I would assume it'll still be dry. I think it'll be halfway stage. We'll probably get the rain falling on the circuit. If it's around 10 or 15 minutes away, should be around lap 9, lap 10. One would imagine. Yilbum was on the back of Rocco as Jensen is round, coming through turn number 8 and 9 through the double left-hander. Wasn't going side by side with anyone. Really was pressurising him in towards turn number 1, but didn't obviously get the move done. And Jensen now obviously ran. I'm not sure if he's lost his front wing. I think he has not escaped any damage. Yeah, he's got right side end plate damage on the car. So Jensen there in 16. Unfortunate, but it's a simple mistake, and I've caught that many times coming through turn 8 and 9 where you end up spinning on the outside curb, you get forced into the one left hand side, and that's pretty much the end of your race.
Yeah, either you hit the inside curb at the wrong angle, or as you say, you lose the traction on the outside curb. So that's a bit unfortunate, but you have to be really focused all race long here to not let something like that happen. We see P is still not even trying to get past Isa, and two Mercedes are getting closer and closer. Connor just building up battery. Wouter's looking quite strong as well so far, but no changes yet, and quite a calm race so far. But it's probably going to kick off, as you said. The rain probably going to come halfway through, so not really any tire saving needed. Just about knowing when to push and gain the positions, because in the wet conditions it's going to be really hard to make any progress.
It will be really hard, but normally around this track, second half of the race is better than first half, and I think I say that in every single commentary that I do, to be honest. But in a race like this, around here at Sochi, obviously DRS train absolutely enabled currently. Pease is looking quite close though to the back of Izza, 0.3 of a second away to the closest he's been for quite a while, possibly since the first lap. And Pease on the back of Izza. He's not going to use up any DRS. I wonder if he's going to actually think about going for the move here, though. The slipstream obviously is going to come into effect, and we'll see Pease now on the back of Izza. I think he's just going to wait behind, possibly for now. That's exactly what he does, and I saw that from an absolute mile off, to be honest. But Rudy is going side by side with Killer Blue potentially for a move. Rudy does get that move done. He was outside of the DRS range, actually, on the likes of Nuth. So Killer Blue lost that position to Rudy. He's through, he's into 13th. Nice negotiated. Nuth picks up the first 3-second penalty. Didn't look like a 3-second penalty to me when I flicked on board with him there. But Verstappen on the back of Pease. Pease was running quite quick to that middle sector and coming through 14 and 15, just lost a bit of time, and now Verstappen's applying a bit of pressure and using up a bit of battery as well to good effect.
Yeah, they're all bunched up a little bit with Issa and Pease fighting, as Pease is now going for it. He's using his battery, not even that much, and now he's going for the move. And now Issa is going for the switchback, which can look actually quite nice. But look at Verstappen, but he's now boxed in, he can't go anywhere. It's literally claustrophobic situations, but he can't go anywhere. And this I can just dive it down the inside again. He has to be careful not to touch into Pease at any point, but that's perfectly executed there. And Campbell just having a cup of popcorn and not doing anything, as Issa's already flashing, so he's the one in ERS trouble right now.
Already flashing, and the cloud is beginning to build over the circuit as well. It's got a little bit darker compared to the last lap around. You can see though, cloud cover off to the right hand side, basically where turn 18 is. That is where the rain is going to be coming from, and that is where the rain obviously comes from. The mountains. Verstappen nearly loses it on the curb. Well recovered, my friend. And the Dutchman now very, very lucky not to pin that one into the wall. That was a really good recovery from Verstappen. He was on the back of Izza, now not on the back. Izza tries to pressurise Pease into the final corners, into the final sector in turn 12 and 13. Barocco and Yilbum are looking quite close here as well. On the back is Yilbum, but they're all on the back of a DRS trap. But you can now tell the cloud beginning to build over the circuit. We're not too far away from rain, perhaps. Wouter on the back of Connor. Connor thought was coming into the pit lane there for some reason, but Wouter on the back of Connor. Connor's really out of shape coming out of 17. There's a tap up the backside by Ruti on the back of Wouter, and that now unsettled Wouter. And look at Jerome now on the back of Ruti and Wouter. This is going to be quite intense as Campbell is doing Verstappen. Ruti and Wouter, this is going to be good for the commentary box. Ruti to the inside line on Wouter, doesn't get the move done on Jerome and behind. Might try and get the switch back. What a switch back to the inside line in towards turn number 4. He gets the job done. The Haas is through and he's into 7th. That was picture perfect to perfection from your own. He's through and he's into 7th, and Ruti has just been done like an absolute kipper.
Yeah, you really have to be aware that the people can just cut at the second corner straight at the exit, and then you just get a surprise like Ruti did. A little bit of a bump and run by Jerome, but I think he got away without any damage, luckily. But nice move, well timed. And now we see the field really bunching up, with Pease not being in a hurry in the last sector. and people just not really pushing each other yet. We saw the Mercedes switch tactically on the straights. Campbell obviously the priority in the championship fight, as Trubin and Rocco are having a path battle of their own. Rocco not really fighting it right now, but at least we can see some moves now in the DRS train. Just have to be careful, they all get bunched up not to bump each other into the corners too much, as we've just seen.
Yeah, I think Rocco there, to be honest, I think he had a mistake coming out of turn number 10, and that's why we saw Yildirim get through so easily. He's soon he's into 9th regardless, Rocco there down into 10th, but the clouds still building over the circuit. I'm convinced that it's going to be very cloudy by lap 9, and we'll get rain on lap 11. So, that is where I'm going to say. You can put the National Lottery numbers on if I'm right. Pease leads the way, Isra in 2nd, Campbell in 3rd, Verstappen in 4th, Connor, Ruta, Jerome, Ruti, Yildirim and Rocco round off the top 10, then it's Neil, Nuth, Rudy, Killer Blue Marine round off the top 15, who is still yet to come into pit lane. Kumbly obviously has already came into pits. Nathan, Dylan, Packer and Jensen all have came into pits as a result of damage dark. As it gets very dark now over the circuit here in Sochi. Rain might not necessarily be too far away. When it clouds over like this though, it's still around 5 minutes away, I tend to think. So, 5 minutes time, lap 11.
Chaff is also putting his money on lap 13. Although, does he have any? That's another question. But I think it's going to be earlier.
He won the national earlier on.
Whatever the national is, I don't even know. But at least we see the rain probably going to come lap 9, 10 or 11. So I'll bet my money on lap 10, but we'll see about that. We probably see some people in a rush to make the overtakes right now. Campbell squeezing his battery, pushing Isa into Peace. So Isa is already thinking about it. Doesn't go for it here. Campbell just thinking about it. Verstappen being his lifeguard at the moment. Wood just thought about the move as well. It was so risky to stick one down the inside. But we'll see moves on the next straight for sure, as people are going to get hectic to gain the positions now.
Funky Chicken coming into the comment section saying there as well, lap 14, the rain arrives, lap 18, pit for Inters. Too late, I think, for that. I think it's going to be lap 11. Judging by these conditions, it looks, from a wide-out camera angle, very overcast, and it looks like it's going to rain. This is lap 9, so this is where I think it is going to rain. And then, obviously, lap 11, possibly, as Campbell's on the back of Izza. Yeah, Campbell on the back of Izza, but Izza's going to have to be pushed into the battery to use on Pease, and Campbell doesn't get the move done. It's a bit of forcefulness there from Izza to defend the position. Campbell there gets a good run out, coming out through turn number 3, through the left-hander of turn number 4, but he's not close enough to get this move done. Pease leading the way, Izza in 2nd, Campbell in 3rd. We'll run and bubble the drivers continuously to see if the rain is going to fall out on track, and when the rain is going to fall. Possibly, as I say, lap 11 looks nigh on guaranteed, I think, for the wets obviously to come. But Funky Chicken saying as well, if this happens, it looks like a genius. Nathan JP, that is, from Division 2, he's convinced it's lap 10. Stephen Trodden saying as well, lap 14 they will come in. So, everyone knows different, but me being a commentator and me being theoretical, I think it's going to be a lap 11.
Yeah, we probably see the rain flashing on lap 10 or 11, so that's where it's going to happen. And then it's just about how quickly the track gets wet. I think maybe not too quickly. Oof. But yeah, Isla is getting close. He almost needs to make the move, but he doesn't have the ERS. As Wouter is up the rear diffuser of Connor as well. Connor's getting close to Verstappen too. So Verstappen obviously going to double stack whenever they want to pit the same lap time, or he has to gamble. So Mercedes in a bit of a tight situation. Obviously Campbell in ahead for the championship. I think Connor is now really going to try to make a move on Verstappen, as Verstappen almost getting pushed around that final corner. And still no moves happening at the front really. And they're just wasting their ERS right now. They can't do anything. It's a stalemate once again, like last week.
Yeah, Connor on the back of Verstappen. What Verstappen could potentially do, though, because obviously you mentioned the double stack. Reuter's right on the back of Connor coming out of turn number 3 there. Doesn't get the move done. Connor stays in 5th. But what I think might happen actually is Verstappen might just start to lose the pace on those mediums. Campbell's right on the back of Izza. He's literally being dragged along by Pease in front. Them 3 are now beginning to pull away slightly. Could Verstappen knock back the rest of the field up and obviously do a bit like Jeddah and Hamilton and Bottas potentially, and Verstappen obviously in 4th, 4/10 of a second away. He's in that position. Campbell obviously ahead in the championship, wants to get as many points as possible. Why would Verstappen not do that though?
Yeah, he could do that. He needs to be smart though and do it in safe places. But the issue is he has to do it by like 5 seconds, 6 seconds to not get a double stack. And with that track, if he loses the DRS, he's going to be an easy target, and it's not going to work that well. But he should maybe back off a little bit to not lose as many positions. But at the moment, he's just maybe trying to think about pitting a different lap than Campbell. That's probably
Yulbreen! Down the inside of Ruti, tries to get the move done. This around the outside of turn 16, and absolutely sends it around the outside. Lovely move by Yulbreen. We get strewn, he's into 8th, and Ruti got caught napping there, coming out of turn 13 into 14, and Yulbreen was through 15 and 16 into 8th position he goes. Who said you can't overtake around Sochi? Lap 11, this is where I think the rain is going to come, and Pease leads the way, but Campbell right on the back of Izza, running down in towards turn number 2 and 3, and there's a looks to the inside line, doesn't get the move done. Ruti though was fighting back on Yulbreen, coming through turns 2 and 3, forced off the track slightly, and now Yulbreen and Ruti are going to be side by side once again, coming through turn number 4. The Ferrari's on the inside line, he's got the run on the inside, now for the outside line, in towards turn number 5, but Yulbreen is still there on the inside line. They go hammer and wheel banging now, on the run up towards turn number 6. Ruti and Yulbreen still side by side, one of them's going to buck out, and it's Yulbreen, I think, who backs out. Ruti gets the job done, really nice battling there between them both, P8 and P9 for them both, and Ruti got that move done, and that was all spawned basically from a really good run in towards turn 2.
Yeah, great recovery from him there. Chaff just mentioned in the comments, Alfa Romeo have the same issue with the double stack, and to be honest, so do Renault, or Alpine as they're now called.
Ferrari.
So, yeah, true, Ferrari also still in that mix somehow. So a bit awkward there. Oh, it's deep into the corner. Campbell trying to get a switch back into the final sector. No, that's too risky for him in that situation right now. But they're all bunching up, and it's getting more hectic by lap.
Nathan!
As we've seen Nathan, oh, that's a DNF.
And that's a safety car! That's a safety car as well!
Is anyone gambling on an Inter? Yes, Nuth, go for it, my man! Put on a set of Inters, and you're gonna be the hero.
But it's not raining though, so what on earth is going to happen? Nuth, Rudy into the pit lane. Majority of field have missed the pits. It's simple as that. That's the worst safety car you could possibly hope for the guys up the field. They have to go an extra lap. Nuth's going, Killablue's going set of softs. I think it's a set of softs here for Nuth as well. It is a set of softs.
No.
Coming into the pit, it is a set of soft compounded tyres for Nuth. So everyone has come in for a set of softs. They clearly feel the rain is still too far away. That's why they've came on for a set of softs. But this safety car now just exacerbates what we're going to get in the future, cause potentially what is going to happen here is Pease and everyone are behind the safety car now, which is so unfortunate for them guys, because the safety cars already came out and they're obviously ahead. If they weren't obviously ahead, then they would go around for another lap within the delta. But Pease leads the way, Izza in second, Campbell in third, rain not falling yet, but lap 14, lap 15 is looking like it's more likely compared to what I predicted for lap 11, certainly.
If that's a 3-lap safety car, which
should be,
could be maybe 2 laps actually, but we'll see. If that's a 3-lap safety car, I would have put on a bloody set of Inters. Go for it. But I've been wrong in the past most of the times. But if the rain is not imminent, if the rain was imminent, as Jeff calls it, a set of Inters is a logical situation, especially when you're at the back. Okay, Funky Chicken just told us his confidential informant is plus 45 minutes. Okay, there goes my strategy.
Oh, the rain's falling! It's raining now!
Oh.
It's raining on lap 12, so I'm not too far off actually. It's lap 12 out of 27, rain falling, everyone has stayed out, everyone behind the safety car I think have just been saved in terms of the rain. And now the guys in the set of softs, Nuth, Rudy, Killablu, Marine, everyone who's just put in for a set of softs, they're probably going to have to come back in and go for a set of Inters, surely, because if the rain is falling now, it's very light, though, out on track. We normally see it get heavier, obviously, but if the rain... I thought, Campbell's in, Verstappen in, and Wooter thought about coming into the pit lane, nearly ran over the white line, but we're seeing drivers come in now. Jeroen, Yildirim, Ruti, Neo, Rudy's also into the pit lane as well from a set of softs. Marine in, Kumbly in. Only drivers that have stayed out on a set of softs so far are Nuth and Killablu, and I think that's probably the right call because it's not Inters yet. The rain has not fallen at the intensity that it's going to wet the track. And all of these guys that have come in for a set of Inters, Marine obviously going for a set of Inters as well. All of these guys for a set of Inters, I think they're going to be found out because the rain is not falling heavy enough for it to actually impact on the track.
Yeah, I don't know. One more lap behind the safety car. That's another 2.5 minutes-ish. And yeah, I don't know. To be honest, I'm confused to what's happening right now. Both Mercedes gambling on the same strategy and double stacking Verstappen in P16. What were they thinking? But we have to see Campbell in my theoretical net P1. But I'm still on the camp that Null should have fitted on a set of Inters and he would be the lucky one. But we'll see. People obviously know more than we do, the drivers. It still looks quite dry. But it only takes 3-4 laps dry conditions and then it's wet. And the Inters can be worth it. The pit lane takes longer than it takes Campbell to win the championship. So, yeah, I have to see if that pays off. At least we've got some spicy strategies right now. And Jensen is not in a hurry, it seems like.
Further down the field, though, I've just spied Dylan and Packer on a set of soft compounder tyres, and I think that's a brilliant call, perhaps, for Dylan and Packer. At this moment in time, you see the rain falling. There's more raindrops now beginning to fall, basically where the halo cam is, and that indicates that the rain is getting slightly heavier. But to me, it's not raining hard enough for it to actually impact on the circuit. Come lap 19, lap 20, 10 minutes time, if the rain's going to get heavier, which it probably will, it's obviously going to be intermediate conditions by then at least. But, as I say that though, looking at the conditions now, I think I might be wrong, and Packer and Dylan surely have to come back into the pit lane for a set of Inters, because the safety car's going to be out for another lap. Jensen's going to be nowhere near them when they come out the pit lane. Dylan and Packer are only going to lose 3-4 positions, and those 3-4 positions potentially, as Dylan stays out, Packer stays out as well, but look at the rain. It's going to be Inters by the time they come round for another lap.
Yes, I'm just on board with Jensen right now, so he's still struggling quite a bit on the set of Inters. He's obviously going a bit higher speeds, but it doesn't look like it's going to be much longer, so much longer, so the pit stop being 28 seconds-ish, that could be an interesting factor. Obviously Dylan Packer probably quicker at the restart, probably going to end up a bit chaotic, and Nuth's probably the quickest guy on track right now when the safety car comes in. But so many things going on. Jaffa did a great joke about the Lithuanian flag being displayed by the colour of the tyres at the moment, but just missing someone on a set of parts or a set of wets right now, so yeah, interesting strat, but it looks damper and damper, and still with my old call, Inter's on the way to go under this safety car.
Yeah, but definitely so. Definitely so. I mean, looking through turn 6, I'm on board with Peas, and he's trying to get those mediums warmed up. There's no point. There's no point getting the tyres warmed up, because they're just going to be cold as anything when they come, obviously, from the safety car period onto the next lap. It's literally going to be like Bambi on ice, I think, for most of these guys on that set of dry compounder tyre. But the rain, obviously, it wets the track enough. Whether, though, it is actually Inters remains to be seen. It looks at the minute. There's no real spray being kicked up, though, and that is going to be the major concern, I think, for everyone else through the field at this point. But Pease leads the way. Isra in second. We're going to get the safety car in this lap, that is for sure. Pease will be the virtual Barlander. He's got to hope that this rain just stops, I think, now. It wets the track, it's Inters, but it's not enough for it to turn it into dries, and we'll see, obviously, now, whether it is Inters or whether it is softs. We think it's Inters, as is contact, I think.
Connor almost spun, and also saw Rudy in the background almost spinning as well. So both tyres are still struggling. It's not ideal. Medium runners will probably have 2 cold tyres, and the Inter runners will have 2 hot tyres. So it's going to be absolute chaos, and we'll probably see a couple of yellows and a couple of spins. But Peace, probably not been that often in the position of a safety car restarter. But let's see what kind of tactic he's going for. He's got a huge gap to this at the moment.
He wants to get on with it. He's into the pit.
They pit. Connor's in that P1 now, but it's too wet, it's Inters.
This is unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. Campbell around the final corner. They're miles behind the dry runners who have stayed out. It's Connor, Reuter and Nuth who stay out. They have to stay out. Campbell now on a set of Inters is technically in that lead of the race, but is it wet enough for the Inters to come online? Let's find out. We're on to lap number 15. Connor leads the way. Reuter in second, Nuth in third. Campbell Hasn't really caught coming through Tom. I say that though, he's getting 4 tenths per second, 5 tenths per second. Clearly Inter's now. It's only going to be more Inter's weather, but some beginning to come through the clouds again makes me think we could see more dry conditions towards the end. Connor nearly sprinted into the wall. Coming out of turn 5, lucky boy, and Campbell now to the inside on Nuth. Should be easy, gets the job done. I think this is going to open a whole can of worms because Jerona's through. Rudy should follow through as well here as well. That's Ruti, actually not Rudy. Ruti through and he's into 5th, and now Nuth is just dropping backwards through the field. Medium runners like they've got the bit of grip, but Wouter getting out of the way. Oh, and forces Jerome off track. Both Relentless teammates make contact, and now look at Ruti. Ruti to the outside on them both. Jeroen just about cuts across, and Campbell now is the net leader of the race, and he actually is actually the actual leader of this race. I'm losing my words. Connor there in 2nd, Jeroen in 3rd, Ruti in 4th, Yildirim in 5th. That's probably one of the maddest safety car restarts I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, and I hate to be that guy, but I just gonna say, told you.
Oh, Connor!
Yeah.
It's 3 wide and it's contact!
Oh, we saved it, Ruti saved it, but as he got damaged, he hasn't. Well, the Inters are probably absolutely shot. Connor almost spinning again.
Oh no!
Absolute mayhem.
Oh no!
It's gone. They're gone. Oh,
and he's out the race, and that might be another safety car as well. That's so unfortunate for Connor. Is it going to be another safety car? Looks off track. It's a VSC. VSC. It saves Wouter and Nuth though coming into the pit lane. Oh, there's a bit of a glitch going on in terms of the camera angle. Sorry about that. But Connor and Wouter and Nuth are both into the pit lane. And they're going to be obviously coming in for a set of Inters, and it's a full safety car! This has saved their race entirely! Wouter and Nuth into the pits. The likes of Peas and everyone are coming around the final corners. They're obviously going to be staying out. But Campbell now leads the race. Jeroen in 2nd, Yildirim in 3rd, and we're back under a safety car.
Yeah, that kind of neutral things out a bit. The medium runners got absolutely bullied by the Inter runners. Connor couldn't even make it to the pit lane because there were so many Inter runners around him, so... another DNF for him, and I hate to say it, I think in terms of championship chances, Connor and Nathan, the both guys DNFing tonight, they have a mission impossible ahead of them. So it's all about Campbell now scoring those 25s, and then it's going to be a championship game on next week again.
It will be championship game on, but we are going to get 3 laps, of course, under the safety car, because remember... Drivers have already passed the safety car. Campbell, Jeroen, Yildirim, they've already passed the safety car. We're going to be getting 3 laps, basically, under the safety car. Or 2 laps, possibly, because the likes of Peas and everyone will have to gain back up, but we'll have to wait and see if that happens. Campbell leads the way. Jeroen in 2nd, Yildirim in 3rd, Ruti in 4th, Verstappen in 5th, Mercedes looking quite strong to take their lead further in the constructor standings as well, which I remember actually didn't come on to in the in qualifying. But Campbell leads the way. Jeroen in 2nd. This is Campbell's opportunity. This is an open goal target for him to get this race win. Will he, though?
Yeah, it's so hard to overtake on Inter conditions, but if you're on the quite decent on the first lap on the Inters, obviously Campbell just taking a bit safer than everyone else. He doesn't want to lose those 25 points. This is the race for him to get back into the championship after the last couple of rounds. So if he just puts it safely, gets up penalties, this should be his race. But we've seen weirder things like Campbell bottling it. What have you seen?
Marine nearly spun out the final 2 corners, coming through 17. I'm not sure if he was either slowing down, maybe sticking to Delta time. It looked like though he span coming out the final couple of corners. Rudy was on the back of him. He's luckily on the other side of the track. And again, Marine slows Rudy down. This is exactly what happened into the final 2 corners. So maybe it's a slowdown for Marine on the back. Mark saying L madness. Definitely, but is this the L plan for Yildirim in 3rd position? Nicely negotiated there. I can't even get my words out tonight. Campbell leads the way. Jeroen in 2nd, Yildirim in 3rd. I just favour Yildirim at this stage because he's there in 3rd. Set of Inters are going to come into play. Ruti, I know, was quite quick on a set of Inters as well. This could be anybody's game, to be honest. I, of course, wouldn't rule out Campbell for the race win, but he has got a whole pack to defend from. Will he cope with that pressure?
Yeah, we saw Trubrim was absolutely rapid in quality on a set of wets and also on Inters. So he can be dangerous. He just needs to get the posture on as quickly as possible and just put the pressure on Campbell. And we've also seen Peace and Issa being quite quick, but they're all the way down to P10 and 11. So the gamble for Mercedes to double stack actually kind of worked, although Verstappen lost a couple of places. So it's absolute madness. I wonder if there's going to be full wets involved at the end of the race. Still looks like it's safe into conditions right now. But yeah, Campbell under big pressure, and I'm gonna just gonna check the warnings right now of the drivers. So that's obviously a big factor. Campbell with a clean sheet, no warnings. Jerome has got 1 warning. Trubin has got 1 warning as well. Ruti 0. So those drivers are pretty safe. Safety cars are obviously coming in, James.
Safety car is coming in this lap. The Campbell Gamble, as Jav is saying in the comment section. Sochi 2022, also Ibbo 2022, of course. And this might be the maddest race he's witnessed in a long time. I totally agree. This is the maddest race we've commentated on in a long time, certainly. Campbell leads the way. The virtual Bernd Malander, now the virtual safety car. Yvonne and Yulbremen behind are going to try and give him all hell to pay, possibly through the final couple of corners. But Campbell now says go. He's sliding a little bit, actually, on the restart. Campbell round the final 2 corners, though. Gets the restart. Wooter and Dillon swap positions further down the field. And there's a little bit of scrimmaging further down the field as well with Ruti Marine. But Campbell round the final corner, leads the way onto lap 18. Yulbremen, though, already out of the blocks. Already on the back of the relentless man in front of him. The MLE driver, the German, on the back of the Dutchman. Is he going to think about going for the move in towards turn 2? No, doesn't think about. Wooter, though, is going side by side with Kuhn Bly running down the straight, literally inches apart, and Wooter just sends it down the inside line into turn 2. Lovely move that by Wooter. Kuhn Bly completely found out, and now Dillon and Nuth are going to be side by side. Rudy is side by side with Marine further up the field, but Nuth down the inside line of Dillon. This is for P16. And it doesn't look like he's going to get the move done here, because Dillon's back on the inside line and he fights it off. And actually, as soon as I say that, Nuth gets a switch back and Nuth gets the position, and he's into 16. So patience comes to those who wait as Dillon goes right around the outside, coming through turn number 6. The McLaren and the Williams are going side by side, and the Williams just about gets out on top. Nice battle up between them both. Nuth at 16, Dillon 17, Packer 18. Campbell leads the way, Euron in second, Yulbremen in third, and also Rudy got past Marine for 6th.
Yeah, so not many moves happening right now, but we still got a couple. Rudy and Marine already almost overtaking each other on the safety car. Now putting on a track in real racing conditions. We just see that the Jaff mentions Jerome and Campbell are not the best mates on track. So that kind of thing is spice things up. And Wooter is on an absolute rampage. He's side by side with Killebrew at the moment.
Lovely.
Quite sketchy in the wet conditions here in the last sector, but he should put it around the outside here. Leaves enough space for Killebrew, and that's just a beautiful move. And he seems to be on an absolute charge right now. Obviously, it's just about getting points for him right now. And to move all the way in 16th, if he put a set of inters on, he would probably be leading the race. So he's probably kicking himself right now. Verstappen probably the closest one to make a move on the Ruti.
Yeah, he's on the back of him, the Mercedes on the back of the Ferrari running down towards turn number 2, but he's not going to get the move done. Maybe Neil on the back of Jensen looking quite close. Not going to get the move done there, and I don't think we're going to get moves further down the field either, as Dillon looks the inside line on Nuth. Doesn't get the move done. Verstappen, though, is right on the back of Ruti. Tries to go on the inside line now, for this is for turn 4. And now to the outside of turn number 5. Lose my voice. Ruti goes deep, and Verstappen tries to get the switch back out the corner. Does do, and now uses that ERS and battery to good effect. And now Verstappen to the inside line. Ruti makes contact with him, though. Turns into the side of him, and that is not great driving, I've got to be honest. And now Rudy on the inside line. Both Ferraris going to make Verstappen pay with that, and Rudy now through he's into 5th. Verstappen just gives him the right of way, as that, to be honest, could have been dealt with a hell of a lot cleaner. Rudy just looked like he basically turned into Verstappen into the exit of turn number 5, into turn number 6, and Rudy escapes the scene. I think a penalty might come his way for that.
Yeah, the Ferrari master plan when he ordered it on Wish, really. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame for Verstappen. He was on the charge, and he set that move up perfectly on Ruti, and Ruti just not defending as well as he could have, and then just turning in and destroying Verstappen's race there. Just have to mention Ruti. He started at the back, didn't he? Up to P5, yep. So important points for the constructors right now for Ferrari. And at the front, it's still nothing much happening. It's just so hard to get close enough, and with no DRS, it's almost impossible. But we have to see, as Jeff is mentioning, yeah, when Justus is not here, Rudy's delivering. So maybe they should repeat that next week, but we'll see about that.
maybe a bit of friction between him and Rudy, perhaps, in terms of why he's not attending. But we never know. Justas, of course, has probably had prior commitments. Pease, by the way, is on the back of Neo, running down and towards turn number 2. Jensen as well on the under pressure. Neo backs very early for turn number 2. Don't know what the German was thinking there. Pease now in 10th, is 11-11. Dylan and Nuth are fighting side by side, just in the background of the shot, and Dylan does get that move done. He's 30 into 16th. Nuth there in 17th. Packer there in 18th, and at the minute, Campbell still holds the lead. He's picking up the full 25 points at the minute. Good for the championship standings. Campbell leading the way. Jeroen in second. Yilboom in third. Ruti fourth. Rudy in fifth. Verstappen, Marine, Jensen, Neo, Pease run off the top 10. Izza, Rocker, Ruta, Killer Blue, Kumbly, Dylan, Nuth, and Packer. All the 18 drivers still going. Connor and Nathan, of course, crashed out at various stages in the race. Penalties, by the way. Jensen and Nuth, 3 seconds at the minute, and that's the only penalties to report.
Yeah, so far, which is quite surprising. Rudy also getting the fastest lap point, 100% surely, I think. So, fair play to him for that. And I think Turbim now has to make a move. He has probably a bit better pace than Jeroen. But he just needs to stay close, within 2.5, 3 tenths of the last corner. Then he's got the shot with the slipstream, but Jeroen can't seem to get inside Campbell's half a second right now. As there's some side-by-side action at the back.
Yeah, Dylan was on the back of Kumbly in towards 10-14 and now just sends it down the inside of 15. It's a bit of a rough and tumble battle this between the XL and QVR team. And XL Dylan outschools him around the outside. Kumbly's just not got the grip. But what I'm going to now mention is cloud cover is lighting up slightly above the circle. That normally indicates that it's going to be lighter rain coming, or perhaps a dry up in conditions. Possibly 7 laps ago, I don't think we're going to see the rain relent anytime soon. So I would say it's into to the end of the race, unless it gets wetter. Which, to be honest, the rain, looking on board with Jeroen and Yulbream, looks like it's getting slightly heavier coming through turn number 4, so that might be totally out of the question. Nuth picks up another 3-second penalty, he's now got 6. Campbell, though, beginning now to pull away. Jeroen in second, Yulbream in third, but cloud cover certainly just beginning to lighten up over the circuit. Normally indicates one or two things: either rain is getting heavier, or rain is going to stop completely.
Yeah, I'm not a meteorologist, but this game just does what it wants with the rain conditions. If we see it getting a bit heavier, it's probably going to be interesting in terms of whether the Inters can cope with it. If it gets dry, I don't think you will see the dries tonight anymore, as it's just a bit too wet to dry up that quickly. We saw Turbim get quite close now to Jeroen, but still not quite close enough. Verstappen, I don't know if he's got damage from the incident with Ruti. I think he might have, because he's broken off completely, 1.5 seconds now behind the 2 Ferraris. And Nuth is having an absolute nightmare after getting a second penalty. He's now lost the position to Packer as well. And he's just falling into last place, and there's no really recovery for him this race.
Yeah, it's unfortunate unless there's a late safety car for him and everyone else pits in and the rain just stops. I think Nuth's race has probably run here in terms of 18th position. Whether or not he'll come into the pit lane remains to be seen, though. We'll have to wait and see as the race goes on. Lap 22, though. Campbell leads the way. Jeroen in second, Yilboom in third. Ruti in fourth, Rudy in fifth. Izza, however, on the back of Pease. These two were fighting out for the race lead, of course. They qualified first and second. They're 10th and 11th, for goodness sake. And this is just how the race has actually gone for both the Relentless drivers. 10th and 11th, they got completely outdone in terms of the second safety car. Rocco's not too far off this either. They're on the same strategy, obviously, further down the field. And it's almost as if we've got 2 races, perhaps, because we've got top 9, who've obviously pitted in, and then the bottom 9, who've obviously pitted in a little bit earlier, but they can't make any moves, and everyone's just staying in the same positions. But I know for a fact, rain obviously beginning to get slightly heavier in intensity, we're going to get some dive bombs, I think, in the final couple of laps of the race.
Yeah, people are going to get impatient and a bit frustrated just sitting behind someone, so we probably see some lunges from a bit further back, which can work in turn 1, but other than that, it's risky business on this track. But yeah, we see the top guys punch up a bit more now, but still some gaps. Campbell, the lowest one on ERS, so that's going to haunt him later on in the race, I don't know, but at least he's now over 10% less. Other than that, no moves happening. Izza seems to be like he's the closest one on Pease.
He's going to go for
it. He's mounted back, but he can't send it. It's just so frustrating in the wet on this track.
Yeah, it's a shame, I think, that obviously drivers can't overtake on this track. But here, Izza on the back, obviously. P's there in 10th position. Is 11th, Rocco in 12th. They're all filtering through a train. Obviously, they're losing time as well with Verstappen becoming the cork in the bottle there in 6th position. And he is losing time, obviously. As soon as I say that, though, he gains 3/10 of a second coming at the final corners. Campbell, though, leads the way. Jeroen in 2nd, Yilboom in 3rd. Rayner's got a lot heavier now out on track, so it might be full wets potentially by the end of the race. That might mean, perhaps, that we could see drivers slipping and sliding off the track, maybe like in the style of Lando Norris last season, of course, but Campbell currently holding his own, and to be honest, he looks like he deserves this race win, because he's been flawless tonight.
Yeah, he's been flawless, nailed the strategy, gambled quite a bit, but not as much as they could have been, but he absolutely nailed that. He's still overusing the ERS a little bit on the straight. I don't know what his goal is with that, but they just can't get close enough. It's impossible for them, and they're just all stuck in that train. We'll see if the Ferraris do a little swap, but because Rudy has got some serious pace, probably in a P4 with the penalty of coming Rudy's way. So he's done probably the driver of the day so far. But after that, probably is at the closest to move again. Still on P's, but even within a tenth, half a tenth, it's so hard to send it. And he's trying again, which is wasting the battery. He's not even getting close enough, and yeah, that's not going to work for him.
Yeah, not going to work for him. Izza on the back of P's in towards turn number 12. Not quite close enough. Campbell leads the way, though. Jeroen in 2nd. Yilboom in 3rd. My voice is definitely going towards the end. Jensen, by the way, did pick up a penalty, I believe, as well, as along with Kuhn Bly. So they've got 3 seconds. Nuth has got 6 seconds. Not that anybody really cares, I think, at this point, because nobody's really got a penalty. Campbell, though, leads the way. Jeroen in 2nd. Yilboom in 3rd. On to the final 4 laps we go here. There's definitely going to be Inters right towards the end of the race. If anybody goes full west, then you're just absolutely insane. Campbell leads the way. 7/10 of a second. He's controlled this race throughout. But, as you said earlier on, a couple of laps ago, drivers are going to tend to be impatient. Where is that impatience, though, going to come from? As Izza has just slowed down completely down the straight. He's just lost 4/10 of a second coming through turn number 2. Okay. And Izza, has he hit the wall? Perhaps. He's losing a lot of time, Izza, here. And he's 7/10 off the back of P's. He was on the back of P's coming through turn number 1. But now he's suddenly 7/10 of a second off. That was a weird one. It's almost as if he hit the wall up the straight somehow.
Yeah, I don't quite know what happened there. He was really close before, so maybe just hit the curb a little bit on the inside of turn 1, which can disrupt the car a bit, but seems to be fine. No damage, no piece of his front wing missing. So he's fine at that least.
Jensen is struggling, though, in 8th position. I'm watching them both with Neo. Neo's going to get this move done. Rocco overtaken by Ruta. Ruta through and he's into 12. Not sure what happened there, because I was too late to the party, but it looked like Ruta went down the inside of turn number 10.
Yeah, I've got no clue either. Maybe Rocco just made a little mistake. But Wuter seems to be the quickest guy so far on that interest in the race. And I wonder if Izza's going to let him through to have a go at Peace and Neil to score some valuable constructor points. So Wuter made the most moves under inting conditions, so definitely a great drive from him, obviously on a 1 lap fresh instead of Inters for some reason. So yeah, other than that, still 7/10 gaps, as Rocco has been in the pits. He's going into the pit, so he probably has damage.
He runs over the white line as well. Rudy, by the way, on the back of Ruti. This is going to be a nightmare for us. 4th and 5th position. Both Ferraris who don't like each other. I can tell you that now from another league. Rudy on the back of Ruti. And Ruti holds on to the back of Rudy for now. But Rudy gets the traction out of turn number 3. Looks now to the inside line of 4. Ruti just gave him the inside line. Rudy up the inside line. If he keeps control of the car, he's got this move done. And he does. Ruti, I don't know what he was thinking there, to be honest. He gave too much room. Rudy through and he's into 4th. Clearly feels he's the quicker driver, but because of that, they've lost time.
He's done that before to defend against Verstappen. I don't know what he was hoping out there, leaving this place absolutely open, and now he's trying to come back at
Rocco's gone full west.
Oh yeah, Rocco, obviously, yeah. He's rolling the dice, giving the full wet some love. So yeah, that was a bit of a rude...
Rudy awakening?
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Rudy in 4th, Rudy in 5th. Really good move there, of course, from Rudy, and showing why he is one of the drivers to watch out for on a sort of intermediate compound tyres. I commentated on Portimao around here in PSGL. not around here, obviously, with it being Russia, but I commentated on Rudy around Portimao, and that was intermediate conditions, and Rudy absolutely excelled in that race, took the race win, and that is why, obviously, he might be considering, obviously, favouring in terms of these inters. Looks like he could potentially be on for a podium if he pressurises the likes of Campbell, the likes of Jeroen, and the likes of Yildirim. They fall over each other. Rudy there in 4th position. Rocco looks like he's binned it. I was going to say he was not losing much time until that point. Rocco, though, has binned it into the wall coming out of turn number 9. We're not going to get any safety cars. Final 2 laps of the race. Campbell leads the way. Jeroen in 2nd, Yildirim in 3rd. And I'm going to say it now. I think we've got the top 3 as it is.
I'm not sure Rudy's looking so quick and confident through the corners, so I still have my hopes on him. If he can just probably make a move in the last sector, he's a little bit lower on the arrest.
Oh, that's late!
He's the quickest guy on track.
What a move! Oh,
Dylan,
Killer Blue, yeah, Killer Blue forced off track. Dylan looked to the inside line at 2. It was a forceful one. He's let him go for now, but now with the switch back out of 4 and 5, Killer Blue and Dylan, 13th and 14th, and Killer Blue gets to the escape road, but I think Dylan probably realised that Killer Blue was going to be in front, and that is why he's let him go, and obviously, fair play to him, good sportsmanship there by Dylan, and Killer Blue's there in 13th, but a little bit of contact, and that comes to show sportsmanship is what you like to see.
Yeah, Killer Blue opting for the Alonso line there, probably not willingly this time, but yeah, as he gets a huge snap obviously as well. Good measure, but yes, good sportsmanship. Turn 2 obviously being a really tight one, it can lead to such situations, and it's really hard to just make the move there as we already discussed, so maybe a bit opportunistic, but kind of worked as the 2 Rudies are going for it again, it seems like.
Yeah, looking quite close. Dylan and Killer Blue were going for round 2, though, went towards turn 13, trying to get the move done around the outside of 14. He's let him short of room. And Dylan and Killer Blue, I think they don't like each other, to be honest, in terms of that move. Dylan 3 and he's into 13. Killer Blue 14, and he nearly goes inside of Koen Bly there as well. The Dutchman under pressure from the American and behind. Rocco, by the way, is going to get lapped potentially. Campbell, though, leads on to the final lap of the race with the rain teeming down here in Russia. What do you come to expect when we've got to 27 laps around here in Russia? Rain, obviously. Campbell leads the way. Jeroen in 2nd, Yildirim in 3rd, Rudy in 4th, Ruti in 5th. And everyone at this moment in time not looking close enough for a move, and I think we've pretty much got the battles as we are. I think it's the end of the race, because everyone could just bring it home now, surely.
Yeah, not many moves appearing on screen right now. All over 4/10, 5/10 of a second, so nothing too close. Chad Campbell absolutely manages to perfection, to be honest, so no chance of anyone making the move on him. And he just has to finish his lap without bottling it or getting a penalty. So, yeah, and Chaff also enjoyed the battle between Killer and Dylan. So, I think we're looking at the race results right here. Obviously, Jensen will drop back a bit with penalties. But other than that, I think it's the 1, 2, 3 you said a couple of laps ago.
Yeah, definitely so. Normally see drivers run out of fuel around here. Rocco's now slumming down, by the way, to the straight, so I think he can get on the same lap as everyone else. No move's going to happen. That is the Russian Grand Prix overdone with. We may as well just end you off here because we know what's going to happen. Campbell in towards, though, the final couple of corners. Through the final sector, he has been, as I say earlier on in the stream, flawless, I think, tonight. He wanted to try and make that point. Obviously, Justas not being here, he doesn't even care if Justas is here for the rest of the season. Campbell is here, and he's back, and he is back with a win. Coming around the final couple of corners here in Russia, at the Sochi Autodrome, Campbell, around the final corner. Rocco will slow down enough, hopefully. He doesn't get onto the final lap of the race, but Campbell takes the win. Jeroen there in 2nd, Yildirim in 3rd, Rudy in 4th, Ruti in 5th, and Pete and Izra fighting across the line. Oh, and Izra just gets him through the final corner. I think he lunged it down the inside line, Izra on P's. Izra through and he's into 9th, P's in 10th. That might get looked into, obviously, by the stewards. Waiting on Rocco, of course, to finish off his race. But Campbell takes the win. Jeroen in 2nd, Yildirim in 3rd, and in the end, Campbell absolutely flawless. But I don't know what happened there coming out the final 2 corners. All I saw was Izra and P side by side.
Yeah, really, no clue how they ended up in that situation. Not usually an overtaking spot, but yeah, that's P9 and 10 for them. Obviously, the guys that could have, would have, should have won the race. But at least they had a little battle at the end as well, but that's probably painful. So, we already see on Discord that Ruti is not the favorite driver of anyone right now, but yeah, we'll probably debrief that, and we're going to try to get the top 3 in.
Yeah, get the top three in while we can, because Rocco's still going around and having a bit of fun. I think at this point he's coming down the straight in through turn number 12. Of course, no fastest lap is going to be going his way at all, unless he cuts the track and gives himself like a disqualification or something. Possibly he might, but. Jav also saying in the comment section about that Killer Blue and Dylan battle. Killer and Dylan battling is like watching mum and dad fight to me. I agree. Rocco's in the wall, coming out of 14. He's recovering the car. And I think he's just having a bit of fun at this point. Obviously, wants to take this race very seriously indeed towards the end of the race. Comes around the final couple of corners. Nice Tokyo drift there. Give that a 6 out of 10. Maybe a 10 out of 10 one coming through 17 and 18. Let's find out. That was not great at all. And now coming out of 17 and 18. And he spins the car, and that for me is a nil point for Rocco. Coming out the final corner, crosses the line, spins backwards. Give that a 4 out of 10, perhaps. I think J-turns could have been done better than that, to be honest, Rocco. Well, there we are. At the end of the race, Rocco finishes, of course, in P18. Rudy, though, gets Driver of the Day, awarded by the in-game fans. Drove very well, of course, after that qualifying ban, and probably deserves a real good mention in terms of Driver of the Day. But it might be this man here that gets Driver of the Day. It is Campbell, who takes the race win out on track. The Scotsman is back. He extends now his lead over second position, with Nathan obviously DNFing and Connor obviously DNFing at the race as well. It seems like the battle between the front two are on. Justas and Campbell. The gap was 38 points. I believe now the gap is 13 points going into next week, of course, and going in, of course, into the break week next week. Happy Easter, by the way, everyone, until that point. But here tonight, it is Campbell who takes the race win. The Scotsman out on top. You're on there in second, Yildirim in third. If you had that top three, well done. Nobody could have predicted what happened in that race, to be honest. Rudy there in fourth and Ruti in fifth. Very good drives by both Ferraris. Very good on penalties by everyone as well. Verstappen in sixth, Moran in seventh, Neo in eighth, Issa in ninth. Pease ran off the top 10. Probably the most mixed up top 10 you'll probably ever see all season. Ruta in 11th, Jensen in 12th, Dylan, Killer Blue, Packer ran off the top 15. And then it's Kuhn Blind, Nuth, of course, you're running the Ukrainian flag there. Rocco in 18, Connor and Nathan, the two DNFs out of the race. Of course, Rocco finished at the end of the race in P18. We can immediately come on to the driver interviews, and of course, is the man here who was joined the party, who finished in P1, and that is Kivior Campbell. And Campbell said in commentary it was flawless. Did it feel that way?
I wouldn't say flawless. We didn't get fastest lap, but it's as close to perfection as you can get, I think. Yeah, I've never been strong in the wet before, and this season, well, 2 wins have involved rain, especially today with qualifying as well. But I'm surprised, but I'll certainly take it knowing what happened to everyone else today.
Yeah, knowing what happened to everyone else, I think the safety cars really came into your favour, that second safety car especially. Big thanks to Connor possibly for that one. But obviously, you took the win here tonight. You looked flawless, as I say, out on track. Was there the expectation of you wanting to deliver a performance knowing that Justas wasn't here?
Yeah, I mean, I think top 5, like coming into tonight, expecting a boring dry race, was aiming like top 5, maybe stick a podium. I felt quite confident with the pace in the dry. Qualifying, I felt confident, but I didn't think one was on. I thought there was, like Connor, I know he's very quick here, so I was surprised to see he wasn't that strong today. I don't know if he went set up in something, I'm not sure, but yeah, never a win. I didn't think I would win tonight, but I'm not going to complain.
Not going to complain. Obviously, Justas didn't attend tonight, of course, in Russia. He'll be back, of course, after the break week in China. And obviously, the gap between yourself and Justas was 38 points. I now make it, obviously, without the fastest lap. 13 points separating you and Justas. And going into the break week, what is your focus for the third part of the season?
I'll give you an honest answer. The focus is to play Lego Star Wars and head away for a couple of days. That's what I've done this week, and I'm going to enjoy the break week and get away from this, get away from racing for a couple of days. But no, I guess it's to be focused on the championship now. I mean, it was always kind of in the sights, but it kind of slipped away. Recent rounds not scoring huge points when Justas had been winning, but yeah, this opens it right back up. So I need to try and pick up points at my not so good tracks that are coming up.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm looking through the standings as well, just before I come across to Montana, obviously. Looking at the standings, I think that's your 5th overall podium of the season, and of course your 2nd win since Britain, and your first actual point score above in the top 5. Obviously you picked up 5th in the Netherlands, of course, last week, but before that, obviously you finished outside of the top 5, so that must fill you with a lot of confidence going forward as well.
Yeah, it's good for the confidence to win, obviously. Win number 3, of course, Portugal. Won't let Nathan forget that one. Portugal, Britain, and now here. Yeah, I think I didn't expect to do this well this season, but I got to take it as it comes now, and really focus on the remaining races and score as much as I can.
Apologies, I thought actually Justas won in Portugal, but he didn't. You won in Portugal, so 3 wins this season. I'll correct myself in saying that. Montana, though, coming across to you. Any questions?
Yeah, congrats, Campbell, on the win in Russia, which is quite weird to say, as I don't think you've been doing that well before in Sochi. So you've looked so chilled tonight. Was it easy to keep the lead in the last stint, or was there much pressure from behind?
Well, I felt quite confident because qualifying obviously was in the wet, not the same kind of conditions, but on the wet nonetheless. So, yeah, I was quite confident. Just staying off the exit curves was huge. Just squaring off corners and keeping the car straight when I'm putting the power down helped so much. Getting on your own specifically out of the traction zones, and you regain so much ARS. So I definitely feel it right on the straights if I had a decent gap coming onto the main straight. So, yeah, it was fairly relaxed for leading a race, which meant so much for the championship.
Yeah, it really makes it interesting anymore. But China next? Are you gonna try a different strategy to anyone else, or how are you gonna approach this one?
I mean, I think realistically it's going to be on the alt strat and hope something goes my way. I've never been great at China. I have never enjoyed it, but I'd said that about Russia. I would have said about Russia before today, and well, here I am. So. Yeah, realistically, just pick up points and maybe outscore Eustace by a couple if possible, or keep the gap similar. But you just never know, because I might start practice and it could just click for me, and then, well, who knows.
Well, it would be great to see you bring the championship even closer together, but I think Eustace is not having the greatest track with China coming up, so yeah, should make it interesting, especially if Nathan wins once again. He maybe can make a comeback. But yeah. Congrats once again, and lovely to see you back in the championship fight, and enjoy the off week.
Thank you guys, I certainly will.
Very welcome indeed, and we'll now move on, of course, to the man who finished in the end in P2, and it was Jeroen. And Jeroen, first and foremost, you and Campbell have a bit of bad blood, I believe, in another league between yourselves. Was that any sort of reference possibly into you trying to go for the move in the final couple of laps? Because it just looked like Campbell was better than you tonight.
Yeah, no, like some incidents we had that's fast, like just want to race clean every race. But yeah, that doesn't stop me. If I had a chance on a move, I would have gone for it. But yeah, it's I could only capitalize if you made a mistake. To be honest, it was on the exits. I felt a bit of dirty. It was hard to get the power down, and yeah, you just had me on the interstint. Nothing really I could do. Only if you made a mistake.
Yeah, obviously, still, fantastic drive from your perspective. Your first podium of the season as well. You must feel very happy with it.
Yeah, first podium in LOE, so very happy with it. This time in the Div 1. I think I had a podium in Div 3 once, but that's a long time ago. But yeah, in Div 1 it's first podium.
First podium and best result, of course, this season as well. Saudi and Zandvoort. Last week, of course, you finished 4th in both races. And obviously, with this good run of form that you're picking up towards the end of the season, what is your focus going in towards the end of the season? Because you've got the likes of Verstappen, Yildirim and Jensen ahead of you in the standings. Do you think that is your target, possibly to try and get a top 5 finish?
Yeah, I'd say so. If I just keep up the good momentum now, I hope to, of course, climb a bit of positions in the championship, and yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Definitely see how it goes. Indeed. Montana, across to you. Any questions?
Yeah, congrats first of all to your podium. That was a great drive. You really came into your own in that race. Was there any setup? Yeah.
Oh, that's
that leads me to the first question, actually. How do you pronounce your name? Jeroen, Jeroen?
Jeroen.
Jeroen,
I can't pronounce that. I'm from Northern England, for goodness sake.
Yeah, you didn't make our job easy right now. I shouldn't have asked that. But looking ahead of China as well, after a great performance today, is that a track that suits you?
No, not really, because I don't like the mad short shifting there and the overheating. Yeah, it's one of my worst tracks, but I'll get some practice down, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, good luck to that then, and I'm pretty sure we'll speak again in the podium interviews. Looking at the performance from today.
Thank you.
Very welcome indeed, and that I think rounds off the interviews. I'm not sure if we can get Yulbrim possibly in for an interview. Could you not add him?
No, he doesn't want to. He still doesn't speak English.
That's fine. That is fine. Bless him. But he finished in P3, still a really good result from his perspective. Obviously, Yulbrim will be one to watch out for as the season continues on, possibly in that battle, of course, as I mentioned, with your own there, for P5 out on track, and, of course, Yulbrim's first podium since Belgium a couple of weeks ago as well. That rounds us off quite neatly, I think, here, of course, in Russia. No matter how the politics might plague our lives at the minute, racing, both commentary and driving wise, really brings out, I think, the best in League of Europe, and we've been delighted, of course, to bring you this race here tonight. And obviously, don't let politics get in the way. We will always support the cause at the minute, and always support whatever, in any shape, way or form, what is going to be happening, of course, in real life. And we don't know what's going to happen in real life, quite simply. But around a track like Russia, it's the racing and the commentary, I think, that takes further notice. We don't want to get into politics here, and it's as simple as that.
Yes. Couldn't put it into better words than that, James. I think it's below to end up the stream, and you've probably ended it already.
No, I haven't ended it, in fact. We're still going,
it sounds like that completely.
I'm still going to ask you the driver of the day.
Yes, that's the easy one, isn't it? Rudy, P20 to P4, flawless performance, and absolutely deserved probably the clearest driver of the day this season.
Yeah, really strong performance by Rudy. Absolutely excelled in terms of the conditions as well, in terms of the inters, and he really came alive. And yeah, I've got to agree, definitely driver of the day from me as well. And that, actually, is his best point score to finish as well, since Monaco, where he only picked up 3 points. So, Rudy's first podium of the season, and he obviously jumps up quite a lot of places in the field as well. But that has been the Ibbo Autodrome Grand Prix and the Sochi Autodrome Grand Prix and the Russian Grand Prix, of course, here tonight. Big thank you, of course, to Montana, and a big thank you, of course, to Campbell and to Yaron for making time available for them to be interviewed. More action, of course, to come tonight at the Ibbo Autodrome. Of course, there's Division 2 and Division 5 taking through the action. Of course, it is Mr. Daniel Huggard and Mr. Kvyat Verstappen, of course, taking through the action there. In Division 2 and Division 5, of course, Killer Blue and Packer taking through the action, and hopefully that is going to be a really good night worth of action as well. Hopefully it is going to be a really good night, and hopefully Division 2 lives up to the expectations. I think that might be race of the season tonight, if I've got to be brutally honest, in Division 2. So, if you're a Division 2 driver and you're listening, no pressure. Thank you so much for watching, though, and until next time, goodbye.